It was just after 2 a.m. on March 29, 2019, in Columbia, South Carolina. Samantha Josephson, a bright and ambitious 21-year-old senior at the University of South Carolina, was out celebrating her upcoming graduation with friends in the bustling Five Points Entertainment District. Like so many college students, she planned to take an Uber home, trusting the rideshare service to provide her a safe journey. But what seemed like a routine decision would tragically be her last. Surveillance cameras captured Samantha standing outside a bar, her phone in hand as she waited for her ride. A black Chevrolet Impala pulled up beside her. Perhaps due to a mix of exhaustion and the dimly lit streets, she mistook the car for her Uber and climbed into the back seat. Within moments, the vehicle sped off into the night. Unbeknownst to her, the man behind the wheel was not her driver but a predator hunting for his next victim. Nathaniel David Rowland, 24, had been circling the area repeatedly, watching and waiting. When Samantha stepped into his car, child safety locks were already engaged, ensuring she had no way out. From that moment on, Samantha Josephson was trapped. Back at her apartment, Samantha's roommates assumed she had simply stayed out longer than expected. Her boyfriend, Greg, who had been tracking her phone, grew uneasy when he noticed a location veering away from her intended destination. He texted her repeatedly, but there was no response. He tried to rationalize it. Perhaps her phone had died. Maybe she had decided to crash at a friend's place. Yet, a gnawing sense of dread settled in as hours passed with no word from her. By morning, Samantha was officially reported missing. Greg, now in a full state of panic, made the 2-hour drive from his hometown to Columbia to assist in the search. But even as friends and family clung to hope, a grim discovery had already been made. 6 to 5 miles away, in the rural town of New Zion, a group of turkey hunters stumbled upon a horrifying sight. The lifeless body of a young woman discarded in a remote wooded area. Authorities soon confirmed what everyone feared. Samantha Josephson was dead. The autopsy revealed a level of violence that was both shocking and devastating. She had suffered over 120 stab wounds. Her hands and arms were riddled with deep cuts, evidence of a desperate struggle to fend off the brutal attack. The wounds on her body indicated that a two-bladed knife had been used, slashing with relentless force. Most disturbingly, her fingernails had been mutilated, as if she had fought so fiercely that they had been ripped apart in the struggle. Despite her resistance, she stood no chance against the calculated cruelty of her attacker. Investigators wasted no time analyzing surveillance footage from 5 Points, tracing Samantha's final moments before she entered the Impala. They issued an alert for the vehicle, hoping to locate the driver before he could strike again. The breakthrough came swiftly. Less than 24 hours after her body was found, a patrol officer spotted the black Chevrolet Impala. When officers attempted a traffic stop, the driver bolted from the car and took off on foot. He was quickly apprehended.
This is going to be a black and color.
All right, here's the deal, man. I pulled your car over because it matches the suspect. Get your hand in your pocket. What are you, crazy? Get over here. Hey, get over here!
I think God had his hand on us that day. There was certainly some divine intervention.
I got him. Get on the ground. Stop moving.
Nathaniel Rowland was no stranger to law enforcement. He had a history of criminal behavior, including a previous carjacking in which he and an accomplice had kidnapped a woman, forced her to withdraw money from an ATM, and then robbed her of her belongings. Though he had never been convicted for that crime, his actions that night had foreshadowed something far worse to come. Inside Rowland's vehicle, officers uncovered overwhelming evidence linking him to Samantha's murder. Blood was found on the seats and in the trunk. A bloody footprint stained one of the rear windows. Samantha's cell phone lay discarded on the floorboards. The child locks had been engaged, confirming that she had been unable to escape. Further investigation led police to Rowland's residence. At his girlfriend's home, they found a bloodstained sheet, a bandana, and a sock, each item carrying traces of Samantha's DNA. In the trash bin, they uncovered a two-bladed knife with blood on its surface, later confirmed to match Samantha's. Surveillance footage from a pawn shop revealed that Rowland had tried to sell Samantha's phone just hours after the murder, but the shop had offered him only $125, and he had ultimately kept the device. Despite the overwhelming evidence, Rowland maintained his innocence. When the case went to trial in the summer of 2021, his defense team argued that his DNA had not been found on Samantha's body. However, prosecutors countered with the undeniable weight of forensic findings: the pools of her blood in his car, the blood-stained items in his possession, and the damning surveillance footage. One particularly chilling piece of evidence was a handwritten note found in Rowland's home, listing supplies such as duct tape, gloves, and a flip phone, suggesting a premeditated plan for abduction and murder. The prosecution brought forth 31 witnesses, including the pawn shop owner, a woman who had seen Rowland cleaning the murder weapon, and his ex-girlfriend, who claimed her young daughter had blood on her shoe after being in Rowland's car following the crime. Meanwhile, the defense called no witnesses. None of Rowland's family members testified on his behalf. It took the jury only 1 hour to deliver their verdict, guilty on all counts. Nathaniel Rowland was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For the Josephson family, the sentence was just, but it could never erase the pain of their loss. In the wake of Samantha's murder, her parents, Seymour and Marcy Josephson, channeled their grief into action. They launched the What's My Name Foundation, a non-profit organization dedicated to promoting rideshare safety. Their campaign urged passengers to always ask their driver, "What's my name?" before entering a vehicle. They also introduced a SAM safety protocol: stop, ask, match, and inform, a series of precautions designed to help passengers verify their rideshare drivers. Uber and Lyft also took steps to improve safety in the aftermath of Samantha's tragic death. Both companies implemented a system requiring passengers to input a 4-digit code that their driver must confirm before beginning a ride. The hope was to prevent future tragedies by ensuring that passengers were getting into the correct vehicle. The loss of Samantha Josephson sent shockwaves through the nation. She had been a promising young woman with a bright future ahead. Born in Princeton, New Jersey, she had grown up in Robbinsville, where she had nurtured a passion for political science. She had dreams of attending Drexel University School of Law, where she had already earned a full scholarship. Samantha had traveled the world, studying abroad in Barcelona and exploring cities like Madrid and Paris. She was a person who embraced life, who loved deeply, and who had so much more to give. Her story is a painful reminder of the dangers that can lurk in the most routine moments of our lives. It is a cautionary tale of how a simple mistake, one that any of us could make, can have tragic consequences. But her legacy is also one of resilience and change. Because of her, millions of rideshare users are more aware, more cautious, and better prepared to protect themselves. As time passes, the pain of Samantha's loss will never truly fade for those who knew and loved her. But her story will continue to inspire a movement toward greater safety and vigilance. In honoring her memory, we commit to carrying forward the light she once brought into the world, spreading awareness, looking out for one another, and working toward a future where tragedies like this never happen again. Samantha Josephson's life was a brilliant flame that was cruelly extinguished far too soon. But through the efforts of her family and the legacy of change she has inspired, her light continues to shine.